Welcome to another very exciting episode of Listen to the Heartbeat with Aaron G. Listen to the Heartbeat is a platform where you matter, a platform where your voice will be heard. Today's special guest is Isabella. Isabella is a student at Mount San Antonio Community College. One of her educational goals is to gain the degree in business administration so she can start her own business, probably be a consultant or a contractor. What's inspiring about this young lady is that she was in the VRC, which is the Veteran Resource Center, and she was seeking information to a letter that she received. And what inspired me to get up my seat is one of the vets said, "Oh, it's downstairs." Maybe. And maybe for me, it's like a spell, watch the spells that you speak. So I went out, "Hey, young lady, it's upstairs." And we had a little conversation. She's 100% bubbly though, y'all. And so I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I know it's going to be exciting. Isabella, the floor is yours.
Hi. It's actually just Isabel. Isabel,
Isabel.
1L. It's okay. Everyone always says Isabella because that's.
You see what I mean? I told you, don't know what's going to jump off, and what just jumped off was correction. Isabel.
Usually I'll just take it because I like how it sounds too, but just because it feels so official. This is proper introduction. Let's do it right.
Only if y'all could have seen those expressions. I
Oh
assure
my
you,
God.
my
I'm
Lord.
always told, Isabel, your face is so expressive. My mom was like, don't make that face because I'm starting to get like wrinkle lines on my forehead, but I'm just an expressive person. I don't mind.
So based on that, I'm going to tell you she might be in the wrong degree field, because I'm telling you, she uses her whole body
I think I'm in the right field,
to
actually.
express herself.
Let me tell
right?
you why. Because
here we
in
go.
business, isn't it so broad? That's why a lot of people go into business. It can be anything. You can do international business. You could be an entrepreneur. You can find a business partner who's passionate about something and help them out with it. Figure out how you fit into that,
I think we have a true consultant here, y'all.
I do like consulting. I do a lot of consulting in my real life, and I think I'm just realizing that now. But I also want to share a story about why I'm saying that business is so broad and that's why I chose it. I'm not sure I introduced this story right, but basically, Jason Conway. It's a counselor at the VRC. I feel like I really click with him. He's a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. But he was telling me the story of another veteran that came in, and I guess he was doing like special ops or something. He was a Marine, something like that. And you know how when you're you're a veteran, you've been in the military or something, they all kind of, no offense, they all kind of have like a certain mindset. They go in at a young age. They're trained to, they don't really know what they want to do. A lot of people who don't know what they want to do, they're very moldable. They'll go into, the service. And let me find the words. Don't want to speak unless I have something to say. Here I go. So basically, veteran came in. He didn't know what he wanted to do. He's only done what he's told basically all his life. He served I think maybe 5 to 10 years. And he was like, okay, he sat down. He was like, okay, Jason, set me up. Like, what do I need to do? Just tell me what I need to do. And Jason was like, well, let me tell you. It's up to you, actually. You tell me what you want to do, and we'll play off of that. And all of a sudden, the veteran started sobbing, and he was this young guy. And hearing that story, Jason told me, I was like, that's actually really sad. That makes me really sad because he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. I don't know what I want to do with my life either, but that's just such to an extreme that he has to come to that realization that he's in the real world now. He's made I think he's just coming into a new understanding. He's having a little awakening. I don't know where he is now, but it definitely kind of makes me feel better about how lost I feel right now.
So let's dive a little deeper. Since you can identify with that story, and
a man crying, yeah, I identify with that.
Well, anyone crying at the realization that, hey, you know what? I've actually did this, and this. But a reality is that I was being told what to do, and yet I was not prepared to sit down and say, this is the direction I want to go without someone telling him, them, or they, male or female, what to do. I think that is a serious mental, emotional, and physical boom.
And that's why I feel like the VRC is such an amazing resource to have here on campus, because I was talking to Jason again and I was asking him, so are you like the same person who's acting as like I know you're an educational counselor, but are you a real counselor? And he said, yeah, they serve the same purpose. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe they need more specialized people, especially for the VRC, because, like.
So for me, one of the reasons I'm with you, because I am certified veteran, which is called peer support specialist for veterans and their family.
Mm-hmm.
And I could clearly hear that you are one of our young people. So I didn't want the impression of, wait, I seen you going downstairs. Wait, hold up. They done gave me the wrong information. And so as a peer support specialist, my job is to be with you, period.
I appreciate that, because
Guide you.
any other service here, no one's gonna hold your hand, which is, I get it, but
It is another service downstairs called Rising Scholars,
what
which
do you
is
know?
which
The
is
more you
called
know.
they're called second chances. And one of the trainings and requirements is that we be with whomever, because number one, it's a big campus. Number two, I could be feeling some type of insecurity when I approach the service. I could be like one of the veterans, and I'll share the podcast with you. He shared with me after coming from Special Forces, he was a Marine Raider.
Sorry to interrupt, but where is your branch of service?
Army.
My dad too.
Army. I will tell.
Yeah.
I will tell
Let's
you.
write that down.
I will tell you offline. It's important for me that whomever I come across, I attempt to leave this sense of connection, because I found that we're not that much different. What do I mean by that? Each individual, you, have your own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that me should respect at all times. I like how we started. I started with the wrong name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isabella. You so kindly said, it's not Isabella, but Isabel. I do like, how that
I'm glad that's how you took it, because I'm always so scared.
No. And this is the point I'm making. I enjoy more authenticity more than get alone to make it be whatever. I like authenticity.
I agree too. I think I'm the same way. That I value like a genuine connection. Like when I walk away, I hope I left a lasting impression. That's why even in these in-person classes, I don't usually take in-person classes. I made like a very strong effort to make connections, like on the first day of class, the teacher wants you to, we do this like interactive activity so we can get to know each other, because we will be doing group projects. So that was like our moment to make a connection. And I really go out of my way, and I was like, why isn't anyone else like giving me the same energy back, and try to make excuses like, oh, maybe they're shy. And I'm like, this is for their benefit. Why aren't they,
Well, I can answer that.
Do tell.
They not a Gemini, and they not a Sagittarius, and they not a Aries, and they not a Leo, right?
I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna take it back to that.
So when we were over there and I was waiting on Brother Edward, I said, she the opposite of me, because she bubbly, she's conversational, and she's cautious.
I think you're the same, but at a tame level.
We just the opposite. So the opposite, not the opposite, but I can hang out with a Gemini more than anybody else. Why? Because I can expect three things. I can expect a Gemini to be bubbly, conversational, but then there is another side of y'all
That's what people say,
that's
but
similar.
I think it gets misinterpreted. And what he's alluding to is that we're double two-faced.
No,
That we're
no,
two-faced.
no, I'm not. That's not the energy I'm talking about.
Right.
Because for me, I identify with both sides, right?
Mhm.
Because I have them, right? It's just that mine's in my legs, and the other one is I'm shooting an arrow,
Which means
I'm not always trying to hit the bullseye.
which
I'm
means
enjoying what it means is I enjoy the journey.
okay.
Every get down about me, like right now, it's a learning experience. I could be just as reckless as a Gemini.
Mhm.
I could be just as kind as a Gemini. I could just be just as bubbly and be the listener and chill. So I think most people get it twisted. Oh, they got another side. No, it's actually the same person. What happens?
I still haven't felt a palatable way to explain like what the two-faced thing is to other signs. But
She
other
said,
Geminis get it.
she said, palatable. So do explain.
Two-faced. It's definitely not what you think. I think it just means like we have like our more, what's the word for it? Not intrusive, like our more quiet side, and then our more when people like you give us the opportunity, you get the bubbly side. So maybe that's like where I don't think we have like anything in the middle. We're either like bubbly when people do give us the opportunity and are willing to match our energy, or we're super quiet and tame for other signs, like I don't even know, like loser signs. I don't know.
She called them loser signs.
All right, maybe there's some Gemini there for you.
She sold my daughter because she's a Gemini, right? And that's the first time I heard that one though. So do explain.
Do explain what?
Let's talk about the loser signs.
Okay, well,
What's been your experience?
Taurus.
Okay.
Taurus men. Taurus women, you're safe for now. But you know what they say about Taurus men? They're awful. They're, self-centered, self-serving, all of that. Basically, they give in to all their male qualities. They're just like kind of big-headed. Yeah.
She's quite expressive. Reminds me of someone I know. So tell us about the educational journey and when did you put your energy in it to get to where you're at now?
That would be 6 months ago.
Hmm.
You would not believe where I was 6 months ago.
I would.
Oh, yeah. This is where that Gemini part of me, like, comes out where we'll switch up. Not in a bad way, but, like, turn on our brains when we know it's game time, you know? We can get motivated like that. We can switch up. So here's what happened, okay? I graduated. I was graduating class of high school in 2020, aka we were that year of COVID, and I didn't get my prom. I didn't get my prom. I didn't get my grad night. I didn't get my graduation walk. That's a lie. I walked through the parking lot with my graduation cap. And yeah, that was not cool. That was not fun. I have a lot of resentment for the COVID-19, that strand. And yeah, so that following fall 2020, Mount Sac. Okay, let's do this. I started off really strong. I think I was taking like 4 classes. And then that was year 1. Started off strong. And then either maybe like the following year after that, you know what happens? You meet a guy and everything slows down. He didn't really prioritize school. He was like, you can just hustle. You don't need school. And I was like, so stupid. I was like, yeah, right. And then fast forward 4 years later, I was like, okay. Oh, in between those 4 years, I actually got a big girl job. I finessed my way into it. I went from working at Chick-fil-A one day to the next day working in corporate, which was interesting. So Yeah, I was the new person. I was the youngest person working there. Basically, it was a processing facility, processing, packaging for dairy products. They did products for Target, Trader Joe's, all that good stuff, like all the local places in the area. This was over here in City of Industry. And all I had to do was I worked with pasteurizers, they cook in the milk and the big machines. And by the way, there's stupid people making your milk. You guys do not drink silk milk. And only drink A2 because they have like a different processing system for it where it's like top notch, good stuff. Okay, moving on. Sorry. So yeah, I worked there for like 2 years and I was bullied so bad. These grown-ass people bullied me. Should I tell you the story since we're here? Okay, I'm gonna try and shorten it, but my stories are usually really long. So this was like when you get a job, I don't know if this is every job, but for the first 3 months, I was on like a trial period. And if they liked me, then they kept me. If they didn't, then I was kaputs. So I was like halfway through that trial period and I was being trained by this one other girl. She was like mid to late 20s. And I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends. I was doing like everything to be friendly, not like fake, like you said. Not like fake. I'm not fake. I was just being really nice. I felt like I was bringing us snacks. We were sharing snacks during our break. She was eating all my food, which I'm like okay with because what you don't know is that I'm a chef. I cook like crazy. Maybe that'll be my entrepreneur pathway. Cuisine, maybe. But yeah, one day she gets all the girls in the office and she's like, hey, tomorrow's Friday. Let's come in early. Because I guess she lived in San Bernardino and that's far away from City of Industry. So the bosses let her come in early so she can leave early and like dodge the traffic. I don't know how much traffic she was actually dodging though. She was just trying to get the fuck out. But yeah, so she was like, hey girls, let's all go in early. Let's go in at 5 a.m. and then we can get out early. And, it's 8-hour shift, 7-hour shift. I don't even know. I haven't had a job in so long. Yeah. So the next morning, I come in at 5 a.m. I'm turning all the lights on. I'm walking in the dark through the parking lot. It's so goddamn early. And I'm the only one there. I'm like, that's weird. I guess they want to like sleep in a little bit more. That's okay. So I start working. I'm doing my thing. And then I hear someone like trailing in. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go say hi. Let's acknowledge the other person on my floor. Because it was just me and it's kind of scary. And so I step out of my office, I peek out my head through the door and I'm like, hey, like, what happened? Where's everybody? Like, this is so funny. And then she's like, I don't know, it's so funny. So then I go back to my desk and then maybe like 20 minutes later I get a text from my trainer who's teaching me everything. She's the girl I share an office with. It's like maybe double this size. Just the two of us, one-on-one. We spend 8 hours a day with each other. And I get a text from her saying, I told that bitch she could come in early if she wanted, and I'm going to get that bitch fired. And then my heart started shaking. And at that time, I was in school. And I remember I had a test that day, and I was already stressed out about that. I was already stressed out that I woke up at 5 a.m. I was tired. And I was planning to like study at work and I felt like I had so much on my plate. And then her saying something like that, I just started bawling because I was like, seriously, like I just started this job. Like now it looks like I need to leave and the money was so good. Yeah, I was like, I can't do this. And I was texting my boyfriend who I was with at the time and he was like, you shouldn't say anything because you're on a trial period and they're going to trust her and they're going to let you go. So I was like, okay, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut for now. She hasn't even come in the office. She hasn't even realized that she sent me that text. She was probably driving and realized she texted the wrong person. And yeah, there's a lot. So then one of my bosses came in and one of my bosses, he's an asshole. Timmy T, you know who you are. That's his nickname. Yeah, he came in my office all the time to vape. And he was supposed to be like a real boss, very official kind of guy. Anyways, so yeah, he was vaping. He pulled up his own chair. He like swiveled it like next to me and he was like just chatting, trying to waste time in the morning before the real bosses came in. And then I wasn't letting him see my face. And then I was like, oh, fuck. I can't hold back my tears anymore. I was like, I don't even know what he's saying. I'm just worrying about like what's in my head. And I turn around and he sees me crying and I'm like, I'm sorry. And I get up and I run to the restroom and then I cry in there. And when I'm in the restroom, I hear her walk in the office. And I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I walk back into my office and I narrowly just like pass by her because we share a wall with the girls next to us. It's two other girls in the office who are similar in age to her. She's kind of got them whipped. Like she's the ringleader. And she's leaning in their doorway, kind of, I'm assuming, letting them know what happened. And I try to like quietly walk past her to our office without her noticing. And I'm trying not to make eye contact. And then she comes in maybe like 5 minutes later and she's like, hey, so I think there's a misunderstanding. And then the other two girls come and they're standing right behind her and it feels like they're ganging up on me. And this, again, like, I was like, I don't need this shit. I don't need this shit right now. I have a test later. These bitches is like, this is their life. Like, they're not going to school. They don't have a degree. They're going to work here their whole lives. Not to be an asshole, but, you know. Yeah. So now I'm starting to think, well, fuck, I did something wrong to deserve this. So I'm like scrolling through our text. Did I do anything wrong? Did I say something rude? Like, what have I done? And so she's telling me, listen, I'm sorry. This is an accident. Like, obviously, I didn't mean to text you. If it makes you feel better, I tell her that all the time. She's like pointing to one of her friends. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really make me feel better. And at this point, they're talking to me, but I'm like staring at my computer. I'm clicking away like I'm working while they're trying to give me some sorry ass apology. And yeah. And I can just muster up the words like, I think we can handle this between us. Because she says, if you want to tell the boss like what's going on, that's fine, but I'm just going to tell her my version. And which it was like, what the fuck is that version? Like, what did I do? Yeah, so that's what happened. And I just tell all of them like, I think we're mature enough to work this out on our own. And I just say, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then she apologizes at lunch. She apologizes right when I'm leaving for the day. I'm like, this is awful. And I can't believe I didn't tell my boss. I can't believe I'm not telling anyone. And from that point on, like, I don't make any conversation with her throughout the day. If I have a problem, I just figure it out on my own. I don't want to bother her, even though she was supposed to be the one training me. She was training me from the bottom up. Like, I didn't know anything walking in. Yeah. So I just try to avoid her. Try to make other friends there that could point me in the right direction, which was hard because she knew she was the only person doing her job and I was supposed to be her backup. So no one else knew. So I only had to ask her if I needed help so that kind of limited my options. And I didn't really have any other one to talk to. Oh, it gets even better. We have like, I guess the company hired like a therapist.
Go figure. Go ahead.
But it was not like just for me, okay? I'm not the problem. Yeah, this therapist didn't just do one-on-ones. He just walked into everyone's office, checked in on them. How's your day going? What's going on in your life? Like, how's your family member you said like was in the hospital or something? And this guy was the sweetest old man. He was like retired insurance agent. I connected with him a lot because I just had like a bunch of questions on insurance because my boyfriend at the time was taking insurance classes, which he didn't finish because he's a loser. And yeah. And then also my house got mold. We had like a shower that was like freshly tiled. The guys did a really bad job. Water was seeping through into the drywall, caused molding. I was out of my house for 6 months. I was living in hotels. And I was asking him.
Me too.
Awful.
Happened to me
You
too.
have to report it right away because they try to get out of that shit. But I was asked, because he was retired insurance agent, I was like constantly asking him like, what do I need to report? How do I report this? How do I go about this? And I report it back to my mom when we got home. Sorry, it's really cold in here. I'm like shaking. But yeah, I would connect with him a lot, and he really liked the fact that I was in school because no one else was in school. And I guess that got to Clarissa a lot, so that made her like hate me. Oops, I said her name.
Made her
Bleep.
insecure. What I like about this conversation, I'm gonna go ahead and remind the adults that are out there. But I'm just looking at this young lady just express herself, and it's a reminder to me that our young people, that's one of the reasons I started this podcast in 2019. A friend came to me and he asked, what are we going to do for the young people, right? For the youth, for those coming out of their adolescence, going into adulthood, 35 and below. He said, "You got the technical skills. Give them a voice." And I'm just
I don't
sitting
know if you
here.
want to do that. A lot of people are misinformed or
It,
not informed at all.
but it doesn't matter because as I'm sitting here listening to you express yourself, it's a reminder to me that everyone needs a medium, right?
Yeah, and
To
my
just
medium was taken away from me because my therapist was checking in with me while Clarissa was in the room. So how could I like voice my thing when I didn't have the privacy I needed? And the one thing that I would need to talk to him about, I couldn't for years. It was awful. I felt so isolated. Again, I was like the youngest person there. The person who was supposed to be lifting me up and teaching me everything I knew for the job already had her everything set against me. She didn't.
well, I would have to say that was your perception that she was supposed to be the one teaching you. And I would say you taught her a lot. You taught her about her insecurities. She was so insecure and so vulnerable and so clumsy that she actually texted you
I know it's
a
embarrassing.
message that she was supposed to be texting somebody else.
Have you ever done that?
No. So she thought. And so the best thing about I told you or shared with you earlier, I'm a Sagittarius. Some of the most intelligent people in the world. On the flip side, some of the most reckless people in the world. And no matter what you say to us in response to your question, it's all about the journey and what we learn. And so I would ask you to consider, what did you learn from that experience?
What did I learn? That adults can act like children too. I'm
Wait,
not
stop,
just talking
stop.
about that
Wait,
one
hold on,
person.
sweetheart. Hold
Oh,
on. Hold on. Hold on. You an adult too. So are you talking about you?
Of course.
Okay, so an adult can do what? I just want to make sure.
An adult can act like a child too.
Oh, most definitely. Most
Yeah.
definitely. So I would rephrase that and say, no matter what age we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what age we are, some can revert back. Actually,
Revert or just never grow, really.
I would ask you to talk about, because you're intelligent enough to talk about it. I'm not even going
I
to.
don't think I'm intelligent. I think I'm self-aware.
I think you're intelligent. It's totally different. I think you're intelligent.
Thank you.
I notice your emotional intelligence. I notice your spiritual awareness. I noticed your compassion. You said you cried. You even went to the bathroom because of this unbelievable act. This lady texts you.
Betrayal. Really betrayal.
Yeah,
Because
well,
that doesn't mean it was her. It means all the other girls in the office too. Like,
not only that, it really, if you take a look at it, it meant you had an expectation. You got hurt because your expectation. You might,
they weren't high.
but no,
And I still got hurt.
it doesn't matter. So one thing about I remind people around the world that I work with, when I have an expectation, I'm actually setting myself up to be hurt. If I expect you to be anything other than you,
But what happens when you have no expectations?
but when I don't have no expectations of others, I'm in my lane where there's no traffic. And in my lane where there's no traffic is peace. If I have an expectation of you, an expectation of a wife, of a daughter, of a son, of anybody, it's actually a setup for me to be hurt.
Are expectations just like goals?
Not at all.
What's the difference?
An expectation is almost a sense of me having control issues.
What are you saying right now? What are you saying about me?
No, it's you ask me a question. So if I expect Isabel to be anything other than who you are at whatever season of your life, There's a part of me trying to control you. One thing I can say my daughters and my son has helped me learn is that my journey is mine and yours is yours. And that I can show you what unconditional friendship is like. I can show you what unconditional love is like. I can show you what unconditional compassion is like. However, when I expect you to be like me, then that's the part of me that's trying to control you.
Mm-hmm.
I like to say, young lady, that what I love about people, even you right now, is I can count on people to be people, right? I can look, and you just share a heartfelt example of how some people could be. But that lady and then people, her lackeys, right? As I was picturing it, they're 100% authentically, that's them. The lackeys is lackeys, right? And let's stay with the L's. And a liar's a liar. You know, I kind of super laughed, but I tried to catch myself to not make noise when the sister said to you, no, there's a misunderstanding. Yeah, you're right.
Don't
You
hold back.
misunderstood the phone number you was texting.
Imagine I said that. Oh, I was really holding back. I've never held back more in my life because I was realizing, okay, you're an adult. Yeah, I'm not an adult. I'm just in an adult setting. I was 19. And the only thing I said back was, it's okay. I think we're mature enough to handle this between us.
That was an insult. At 19, an intelligent 19-year-old woman said to probably a 29 or 39-year-old woman, oh, we can handle this without. When in reality, she demonstrated to you that that was not possible because by the grace of the Most High Living God, He made her text you the gossip.
I know, thank God. Because deep down, I knew there was something like that going on, but I didn't have any evidence.
You did.
But there I go. There was my evidence.
No, you did.
It's there forever.
You had evidence.
Yeah.
You had evidence, and I'm gonna remind you what the evidence was and is in all journey.
But yeah.
Ain't no but, little sister. Our intuition is our guide. We don't need a map. And your intuition.
I think I was mistaking it for an insecurity.
Your intuition had warned you, right? It had warned you. And just if I could ask you to consider something on the rest of your journey, and I would ask you to remember, our intuition is our guide. We don't need a map. It is the map. It is the map. It is the map. No matter, you may say, oh, well, I'm younger than them. No, you're like everyone else. We've been given that beautiful thing called intuition for a reason. See, that's the most.
It's weird, isn't it?
No, it's beautiful to me. It's not weird at all. You might as well. It could be spooky.
Because it's like beyond the physical. It's beyond evidence. It's just a feeling. And then I think that reminds us that we're all just balls of energy.
But true. We are energy. Some of us are more connected to the source than we want to accept. When I allow my intuition to be my guide, give you a good example. I had some things, right?
It's your turn to share.
I'll tell you off the mic what the things was. So I had some things. And some people were doing their best to just get in my environment. So I gave them access, right? However, the things they were looking for, I got some duplicates. So they thought they was looking at the originals when they was looking at the duplicates. I'll tell you off the mic. And so Dirty Dick Rodney, meaning an irresponsible man who targeted one of the young ladies who outgave access, right? Eventually they end up getting a duplicate. And so the young lady came to me embarrassed and ashamed, because of me. And I said,
you're blacking out so much information that it's like
you'll get it off the mic. You'll get it off the mic. And it relates to in the future, Don't have compassion for those who are compassionless.
I thought that's when you're supposed to have it the most.
No. So some people.
Is it earned?
No.
Compassion is earned?
No. Some people only understand, right? They only understand being hit back. That's the only way they're going to grow. That compassion you have is like, oh, yeah, we can just run over this bitch, right? No, 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 no. You took the bigger road. But in this journey, when the sister came to me and she had them tears, I pulled her to the side and I say, listen, I was trained to make sure I have duplicates, right? And I also used you so I can find out who that was. He was using you trying to get access.
Mm-hmm.
I used you to see who he was going to, and I got so much intel out of it. And I just hugged her. She sobbed. And I say, even like right now, I don't know if you're a psychopath, a sociopath, or a narcissist, but I'm still hugging you while you cry. But in my head, I'm saying, okay, what's your next fucking move? That's a lesson I'll share with you as we walk out. But it reminds me, and thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that part of you was nervous. Part of you was kind of like in shock. Like, really? Who do I go to now? Right? Oh, thank you for just being expressive. I appreciate.
My pleasure.
I appreciate you being your authentic self. I'd like to see the other side of you too one day, right? Because that's the whole you. Mom once told me, and I'll share with you, you will know your friends. Grandma said to take your thumb and put it over your fingers. How many do you cover? Take your thumb and put it over your fingers.
3.
So that's about how many genuine friends you may have in this lifetime. And she said,
that's how many I have right now.
She said, the number one way to really find out who they are is wait till you hit your bottom, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and see who's there for you. I want to say this is Aaron G. with Listen to the Heartbeat. And I just was so smiling listening to our young guest. I thank the Most High for allowing her to come express herself. She did say 5 or 10 minutes ago, "Ooh, it's getting cold in here." Now you can see her right now. So that it makes
I'm bundled up with my arms.
Yeah, it makes me feel like next time I should bring a sweater. So I want to thank you all for coming to Listen to the Heartbeat and listening to our young future scholar.
Thank you.
Only God knows what he has in store for her. And I hope that she reach whatever goal she chooses to reach. And for you young people out there who are a part of the COVID
gang,
I don't know what to call it, the mishap that, as our young guest said, that, she was graduating and there were some things that was missed, right? And if you are one of those youth, if you decide you want to come on this show and, just express yourself just because of that, you're welcome. Hey, this is Aaron G. We'll Listen to the Heartbeat.